Welcome to the Holly Hibbard Leadership Podcast, your go-to source for actionable insights, practical advice, and inspiring stories to help you lead with faith-filled purpose at work and at home. If you're looking to equip, empower, and encourage yourself to thrive in an ever-changing world, you're in the right place. I'm Holly Hibbard, and with over 20 years of experience as a science teacher, leadership coach, entrepreneur, and relationship mentor, I understand the challenges and growth opportunities that come with pursuing your passion. Whether you're chasing career goals, taking entrepreneurial leaps, or finally reaching for those long postponed ambitions, I'm here to help. So let's get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations and explore ways you can lead your family, lead your life, and find your calling with intention and faith. Hi friends, welcome back to the show. This episode is about speaking. It's about talking. It's about public speaking. Do you know that public speaking is one of the top fears in the world that most people have? Maybe you knew that. And again, I might not always enlighten you with the facts, but today I will enlighten you and entertain you with the story of how I improved my public speaking skills. I will first give a disclaimer. Anyone that listens to my show or has seen me on social media, I want you to know that, yeah, I do have a small speech impediment. Some people find it annoying. Some people find it cute. Some people say it's a straight up lisp. I don't know where it came from. I didn't have it at one point in my life. And then I had it. I think I had a retainer or something somewhere in high school and developed this. But my mom also has it or had it. And we attribute it to hearing loss. But I want to still tell you how I improved my ability to be a public speaker, because whether you think you talk funny, whether you have ever heard a recording of your voice, or you just hate the sound of your voice when you're trying to record a voicemail greeting and you opt not to because you think, oh, that's what I sound like. I want to show you today and explain for you just some things that I experienced over years that helped me to become better at public speaking. Some of them will be things you've likely heard before, but I also like to gamify things, and I want to give you a fun suggestion too that may work for you. Let's start by asking ourselves the question, why does it matter if you are good, or let's just say effective, at public speaking at all? In the Reaching Higher for Professionals course that I am an instructor of with the organization that I'm partnered with and a director for, when we're teaching our leadership curriculum, it is said by Warren Buffett, of all people, that the number one skill that you can have is your ability to speak publicly. And more so than just the skill in and of itself, the reason it is important is because what's going to have you stand out as a leader, or in your area of interest, or in your field, or in the dating world, or wherever it is you have a desire or a need to stand out among the rest, your voice is a major tool to have that happen. And if you can cultivate the way that you speak, the way that you communicate who you are, what you believe in, what you are about, that coupled with your body language and your actions and things like that will give people a clear picture of what they can count on you for. If you are a good fit for them, if you are a good fit for that career goal that you want, or that sale that you're trying to accomplish. And essentially it allows people to know what's unique about you. And that is truly your secret sauce in being a leader, is your uniqueness. So how do we become a better public speaker? My background initially, I went to college I actually went to college to be pre-med. I graduated with a degree in human biology, and my senior year of college, when I was supposed to be applying to medical school, I got really sick with mono and was bedridden for like 2 months. It was really bad. And I had already taken my MCATs and did all that. And I had to buy myself time because I missed out on the application and the interview window. So in that period of time, I decided to get a second bachelor's degree. That's where I got my minor in chemistry and my ability to be a secondary science teacher. And while I was doing my student teaching and then entering the classroom, I think it's safe to say that outside of giving a presentation in school, those were the first audiences I had. Middle schoolers. So when you think about an audience you can have that could be hypercritical, focus on hyper, like middle schoolers, that's where it's at. It is, they're ruthless. And they'll ask the darndest things that you would imagine. And so I think that is where a lot of my patience with people was cultivated, in reminding myself to listen to what they want to know about so that I can speak to only that thing. Also, I learned, because I was on a time clock with what I was teaching, class period to class period, over the 10 years of my teaching career, I had to learn to be real good on the clock. Meaning, I knew I had a 52-minute class period. I knew how long it was going to take for the kids to come in. High school, middle school, didn't matter. For them to get in there, them to settle down, for me to take attendance, to get an actual lesson done, for them to have enough time to ask questions, for me to have enough time to answer questions. And that skill of being able to work with a number of people at once over and over and over again, yes, improved my ability to communicate, but that didn't necessarily convert to being a good public speaker. So I want to make those two things distinct, because I did an episode previously on what good communication is and what it isn't. And I think that that's worth giving a listen to, because being a great communicator, a large portion of that is how you listen. Being a great speaker, however, requires that you have some sort of plan of action of what you're going to speak to. You have a timeline in mind of how long this speech or talk or answer or podcast episode or video, whatever it may be, will take. It also requires that you know who your audience is. And there's one more thing, and it has to do with authenticity. That you, as a public speaker, show up as you delivering the information, not you trying to copy or emulate another person's mannerisms that you follow. So how do you get all these things down? The first thing I started with when I left teaching is I decided I wanted to be a coach. I was going to like a life coaching school. This is like 2013-ish, 2014. And I remember deciding I'm going to record a video series. And when I recorded the video series, it was the first time I had put myself on camera. Now, remember, 2013, YouTube was a thing, but Reels and Shorts and TikToks and short form video was definitely not a thing. The ability to quickly edit things, watch things back quickly even, was not a thing. I recorded these videos at the time on a GoPro. I would have to record it. I had no playback. And then I'd have to plug it into my laptop or my computer and watch it back. And it was a process. But what was useful is I was able to watch it back and go, okay, I can do another take. I can redo the whole thing. Or I could think to myself, okay, I don't like my voice in that. Or my voice actually doesn't sound that bad. But watching it back helped me to hear my starting point as a speaker, because I clearly had cultivated some persona as a speaker or some method of public speaking, communicating when I was a teacher. But this is a different audience. I wasn't teaching, a lesson on moles and stoichiometry and chemical reactions anymore. I was talking about how to improve life. And that required a certain rhythm. It required poignancy. Like I had to have a plan of what I wanted to come across. And I also noticed that in my mannerisms in the video, I had habits that would repeat. Like I might look off to the side or play with my hair, but I was able to make the determination in the moment because it was just so much of an effort. You know what? I'll do a second take and that's it. Or I'll do no more takes and call it a day and say this is good enough. So back then, I didn't have that flexibility to practice as quickly as I could now. So fast forward to about 2016, 2015, not that much longer after, Facebook Live became a thing, and as was, I think, Instagram Live at the time. And I remember at this point, I was working for a transformational leadership center in South Florida. I was learning how to be a leadership facilitator of workshops. I was learning how to write workshops, and taking those courses, by the way, and how to write a course or write a speech or write a lesson plan is absolutely something that pays dividends on your ability to be a better public speaker, because it allows you to learn how to lay out your thoughts in a way that it makes sense. And it's different than how you may have learned to write a paper or write out a bunch of bullet points and main topic and so on and so forth. So when I was in this training where I was learning to be a facilitator, I remember I had to challenge myself to do something. And I had this belief, which we'll call a limiting belief, that was getting in my way, that even though I had this massive passion to help people step into the life and the version of themselves that they dreamt of being, or somewhere deep down knew that they could become, I didn't put my voice out there. I was not outwardly and openly passionate about this topic, namely on social media, maybe in day-to-day conversation, but I was around people all the time in my line of work. And so it wasn't as much of a challenge. And so I made a challenge of, you know what, I'm going to record some videos. I'm going to go live on Facebook. And I set myself up for this goal that I was just going to hit go live and start talking. Well, what happened is I got so caught up in what I look like. I got caught up in, oh, my hair doesn't look right, or my makeup isn't done, or I'm still in gym clothes and I need to look the part, right? Because I didn't think anyone would take me seriously if I didn't look the part of a leadership trainer, facilitator, coach, etc. And because I kept using that as an excuse, I still didn't use my voice, which also gave me less and less opportunity to improve my public speaking skills. And so one day I said, all right, I am, for the next 4 Wednesdays, I am going to, at 9 a.m., go to Facebook and click go live, and I'm going to talk about whatever is inspiring me that day, about personal growth, about leadership development, and just get a message across to the people, a message. And I think I left it pretty open-ended in terms of what it was going to be, but it was a matter of just showing up no matter where I was, what I looked like, etc. And despite my best possible planning, where I was going to be at home and have my, freshly washed hair and my makeup and a nice shirt on, I was running late that morning, and I ended up in the gym, and I had just done some hefty cardio, and I was red in the face and sweaty and gross and no makeup. I had a hat on. I had a t-shirt I had cut up on, and it was like 8:55 in the morning. And I thought, okay, walked to my car, sat in the car, 8:59, 9 a.m. And I'm thinking, oh gosh, here we go. Exactly what I didn't want to happen. And I held up my phone and I hit in the Facebook app, go live, and I started talking. And I gave a message about an interaction I had seen while I was at the gym that taught me something about how people treat each other, or taught me something about relationships. And so I shared the story, and here I was, again, red in the face, hat, no makeup, shredded clothes, because that was my workout garb at the time. And man, I was so glad I did it. And I was also so worried that I looked awful and that no one would take me seriously. But I made the commitment that I would do that for 4 Wednesdays in a row. And I did. I followed through on that promise to myself. And by the end of those 4 Wednesdays, I forced myself to hit go live on Facebook and just talk and practice getting a message across. It didn't have to be polished or perfect or planned out every single time, but just practicing and fumbling and saying hi to people and blah, 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 blah. I had to get the reps in. I had to practice. And luckily, unlike 2013, when I was using my GoPro and no playback, now at this point, 2015, 2016, I did have access to this as a tool. So I forced myself to do it. And then I also had comments. I had people who watched, left a comment, people who said, wow, this was really insightful. And they would ask me questions. And then I would think, okay, well, maybe next week I'll answer this question. And after those 4 weeks that I challenged myself to do it, I stayed committed to it. I stuck with just Wednesdays for a while, and eventually it went to almost 4 or 5 days a week of doing that. And I started to over talking with my message. My uniqueness was revealed to me. What people started to know me for was being developed through this experience I was having. So that is one way that my public speaking skills improved, because my message became clearer to me, and their comments, feedback, questions helped to quiet that voice in my mind that kept telling me, you have nothing to say, you have nothing of value, you're not prepared, what do you look like? It started to make that decline some, which was really nice. The other benefit of going live on social media back then, especially because it had to be longer, we didn't have short form video at the time, in the same way that we do now in 2024, is every single live stream that I did, I watched it back. And when I watched it back, I noticed when I was talking too fast. I noticed where my eyes were going. Are my eyes looking at the camera? Are they darting all over the place? Am I fidgeting? Am I not remaining still? I also noticed when sometimes I would be in the middle of talking about a specific part of the speech or whatever it was, like something really pivotal, and then someone would jump on the live stream and say hello in the comments, and I would chop off my sentence in the middle to say hi to that person or to interact with them. And then I would jump back on topic. And so I started to notice in time my physical mannerisms when I'm speaking. I also started to notice when I would not take a pause, when I need to take a pause. I also started to notice when I would jump topics too quickly. And yeah, my neurodivergent brain can do that, and some people can probably follow it, but it's not the most efficient and effective way to speak. So I learned a lot by watching those back, and this trend has continued all the way up until today. I mean, I made a short form video today. I use the TikTok app to record them and edit them because that's just the easiest thing for me. But when short form came into the picture, I have no idea. I had no clue how to use it, how to edit it, how to not look like a complete amateur. I knew the message was important because I had honed my message for so long, but my skills needed work. So I did what any elder millennial, young Gen Xer would do. I Googled it, and I also went to my younger friends and said, hey, teach me how to edit my TikTok video that I just recorded. And then they would teach me, my friend, shout out to my friend Heaven. Heaven helped me to learn to edit my initial TikToks I first made. But then she also let me know, hey, the trend is these types of jump cuts, these short fragmented portions of video. And I'm thinking, okay, but does this matter? And it did matter, and it still matters, but I didn't know all this when I started. And so this all goes back to being able to adapt and evolve with the times, and your message will evolve, the way you present will evolve, but technology can really be on your side when you're looking to improve your public speaking skills, because you are your harshest critic. So if you can watch back things you've created or listen back to things you've created, you're going to be able to give yourself feedback on how you feel you could improve. Now, how does that translate or transfer into an in-person presentation? Very similarly. Yes, the nerves are likely going to be much higher because you have an audience, and likely a captivated audience, and that is really tough because your body might feel anxious or excited and you can't really tell the difference, but you can still have someone record it. You can still watch it back. You're still listening for the same things. You're still listening to your rhythm and your cadence of your speaking. You're still watching, how do you move across a stage? How do you place your arms when you are talking? Are your arms at your side, or are you talking and your arms are folded across your chest? Which, by the way, if you have your arms crossed, that's not a power move. That's a body signal that means stay away from me, which means people subconsciously will feel less likely to listen to you because you don't appear open to them. So there's so many ways, from your mannerisms to how you speak to your facial expressions. Oh my gosh. Last note, I had some really witchy expressions, and I'm saying that instead of the B word, but when I would go live on video, or I would be on a Zoom call, or I would be teaching an online course, when I was listening to students, I had the itchiest face. Like, it was so bad. And when I would watch it later on, or watch back a replay for a moment and see what my listening face looked like, I thought, oh my goodness, I look like I'm mad, uncomfortable, don't want to be here. So watch that as well, because for those of you that maybe you're not looking to be a public speaker on a stage, but even if you're leading a meeting on Zoom or Microsoft Teams and you're in front of a bunch of other people, your listening face matters also, and people do pay attention to it. They will make a mental note if you seem approachable or not. I hope this was helpful in some way. Believe me, I know it could be easy to think about all the things I've shared with you and go, but Holly, I wasn't a teacher. How am I going to get this experience? Or I don't do a job where I have a social media presence. How am I going to do this? I just want to be a better public speaker with the people in my life that I care about. Your best tool at this point is practice and technology, even if it's as simple as recording yourself and watching it back, voice and or face and voice, voice or video, it all helps. But you've got to get the reps in and get the practice in, even if it's a little bit here and there. And eventually your message, your values, your principles, what you're passionate about will become clearer and clearer, which then boosts your confidence that you do know what you're talking about. And that ultimately improves your public speaking skills more than anything else. That's all I have for you today. And until next time, I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening. I'm high-fiving you right now because I'm so proud of you for putting your personal growth first. Remember, I believe in you, and with faith-filled intention and committed actions, you can lead your life, purpose, and family to wherever you dream possible. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you'd take 30 seconds to help others discover the show. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, share the show with your friends and family, or screenshot this episode to your Instagram stories and tag me at the Holly Hibbard. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. I'm always here cheering you on, and until next time, stay curious, remain encouraged, and keep empowering yourself. You're doing better than you think. I promise.